I'm going to read this in 3 parts. One, a song you're familiar with. Another, an Aztec prayer for the dead you're not. And a poem I've written for Abdiel and his family. Abdiel. The sun'll come up tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow. The sun'll come up tomorrow, so you've got to hang on till tomorrow, come what may. There's an ancient Aztec Indian prayer that reflects on the preciousness of life and fleetingness of it. As the Aztecs thank the Creator for their life and breath, they acknowledge that they're only on loan to each other for a short while. And while just like the drawings that they have made in crystalline obsidian fade, so too will their life quickly be gone. Oh, for only a short time, a while you have loaned us to each other, because we take form in your act of drawing us, and we take life in your painting us, and we breathe and you're singing us, but only for a short while would you have loaned us to each other. Abriel, somos primos. For Abriel Reese and family. In Hebrew, Islam, and Christian faith, Abriel means prophet and father, flocks to gather, Abraham and prayer. It means peace or promises to keep. In Hebrew, Islam, and Christian faith, Abriel means prophet and father, Abraham and prayer. It means peace and promise. It means grievances to keep and warfare. It means us and them, chalked bodies on bloodied streets, mayhem, and please to stop it. Somos primos, somos primos, somos primos. Abriel, when Monica asked me to read something for you today and others gathered here, something about peace, I felt me hesitate and almost said no. And I didn't really know you, your life, and friends, only what I'd read and what your sister said to me and Jane last week at dinner. I hesitate and almost say no, because I know I haven't always been such a very good role model, and sometimes worse. And about peace, sometimes hold on too long to hate, too fast to rage. Half joke and half confession, I talked to Ray and Jasmine about anger issues, obsessions, and how that list of names of people who pissed me off keeps growing. And even though, like many of us who know there's a Nobel Prize in our futures for the little things we've done, there's something warm and sometimes comforting, working against the grain and fighting the fact. And without trying to be preachy, that list in my head is still intact. No crossed out names. I call it healing, and sometimes believe that's good enough. But Albert, Abiel, I wanted you to know that although we've never met, I knew your dad, know your tios, and beyond the chismes, half-baked innuendos, or the realities and truth of their lives, In the best of times, they were my role models, and sometimes heroes. Primos, somos primos. And now I long to believe that the light leaving your eyes that Juanita saw that night was your prayer and sacrifice and prophetic warning about the need to stop the killing and to change our lives. Era la luz guiding the fire, hurling through the sky. Paz carnal. I had that epigram for the Aztecs and noted there was so much more to say, because as you'd read or you know about him, he had a deep reverence and understanding of the importance of indigenous culture, especially Aztecs. And he showed that in his art and some of his poems. And I think it was important to recognize that and how important that was to him. At the same time, note of somehow to talk about sacrifice, because for some of you, when you think about Aztecs and sacrifice, you usually get this gory, horrific story about how they love to kill and throw people, you know, and tear their hearts out. But you don't get the story about how they kept the sun going around the world, how they believed in the religion that those acts of sacrifice, because sometimes they sacrificed themselves, that they were the caretakers of the world, and if they didn't sacrifice themselves or others, the world would stop. And there wouldn't be any more Aztec people or civilization. So in that sense, and not in some romantic sense of killing and dying, but in the sense that somehow, especially when we try to change our life, that somehow in that a recognition, the sacrifice of the effort, and sometimes trauma that takes, especially having spent some time in La Pinta and behind walls, and that somehow even out of that kind of experience can come the kind of heroic action in life that I think sometimes call to us. And so that poem is for Gabriel, but especially his family, because I grew up and lived in this neighborhood most of my life. I visited their grandmother Juanita when I was a little kid, and I knew all the secrets and the things and all the chismes and innuendos, and so I feel very close to them and who they are, and connected to all their family. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias, Dr. Caro.